Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Thursday, the 9th of January 2025. I am Delbridge, Benchmark Realty, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. This is your Thursday status chat. Although it is going in a little late, we had some delays today. Hope everyone's heat is doing well. Last night, I think I noticed at some point during the night, it was 12 degrees outside. I could do without the winter. Not a big fan of winter. I also don't like beaches and sand and the heat of the very deep south. Kind of like my Tennessee, right where I'm at. Now, I don't know if you've heard this, but we're going to have some snow, or we're expecting snow this weekend. What do you say we get to the drama right after this message? If you like this content, please go to CallDelToSell.com, find the tab that says on YouTube, click it, and it'll open up a page of QR codes. There you can use a smartphone to scan and get to the YouTube page, or you can just mouse over and click it on a PC. There you'll be able to subscribe to this little button over here and click the notification bell so that YouTube will notify you when each Friday's blog has been uploaded. Thank you. We've got that out of the way. It's all over the news. We do this in this part of the country, the South. You know, we don't have the equipment to really handle big snow and ice type situations because we have so darn little of it. It would be like buying a very expensive table saw to cut 4 boards. It just doesn't make sense. So the few times that we do, we basically sequester, watch Netflix, watch the football game, which we've got a football game already started at the time I'm recording this. It is, of course, the semifinals for Notre Dame and whoever the other was on that side. We got the Texas game and whoever they're playing tomorrow, but we've got a football game going on right now leading to the final contest. So what's going on today? We want to talk about some of the fallout, what has happened since we ended 2024. You know, we had from 2023 in December, at the December meeting, the Fed chair said, we'll look to cut rates at least 3 times starting in Q3 if everything holds. And that's what they said. And during the year, we had all kind of your usual suspects telling us, oh, it could be sooner than that. Oh, we have to have an emergency meeting. And all the time they want the rates cut. And the whole time I was telling them, I don't think you understand economics. I think you understand sales of how to motivate people to buy or not to, or whatever. But so what had happened when we have cut our rates as planned? Well, let's look over at the center panel. Well, here we have Mortgage News Daily. I like to use this source because you can see it's an industry thing, and I'm not really in the industry, and I can't understand everything about the bond markets. I understand some general concepts, but what we want to look at is our 30-year fixed rate mortgages, because remember, everyone was saying, just wait till we cut the rates, cut the rates, cut the rates, cut the rates, and they do weird things. We actually went up both times that we've had some significant little cuts. Here we are about April, we're getting up a little higher, we're coming down. What happened to our rates when we started going in the later end? They actually went up. And where are they today? Well, as of today, we're at 715. Let me make that a full screen. So we got the blue line is the daily survey from Mortgage News Daily themselves. That is at 715. We have the orange, which is Freddie Mac, if I can get it to sit there, 6.93. And the brown one, if I may have to pull it up to get, that's MBA, Mortgage Bankers Association. Right there it is. And it looks like it's right about 6 3/4. So what does this mean? Normally, if the Fed is charging less on the cost of money, people can lend it cheaper. It also means that competition for things can change, whether the markets, people want to put markets in equities markets or stock markets, or put it in bond markets or what have you. So what is going on? Why are we seeing this going up when we have in fact cut the mortgage rates? Well, let's look at what Google says we have here. Now, it says, according to Google, I asked the question, what is causing a 30-year mortgage rates to increase? And it says, jitters about inflation and unsustainable path of government borrowing, aka spending, have contributed to a surge in the long-term interest rates, taking mortgage rates along for the ride, said Greg McBride, chief financial analyst for Bankrate. He expects mortgages to end 2025 at 6.5%. So what did we just see our rates were about right now? So if we're going to end the year about 6.5, we may go up, we may go down. It's just his opinion. He's probably smarter on this stuff than I am because he's a chief economist. I'm just a man wearing a blue shirt tonight. But it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of change from the start to finish, probably. Now, here's the problem I always tell people, and I know I sound like a salesman. But the reality is there's never a better time to buy than right now if you're in position, if you're healthy enough to do that. And the reason being is inflation. I've really never known inflation not to be a factor, at least at a low rate. It's always going up. We may have some economic turmoil and we get a little bit of actual deflation, but it doesn't last long and it goes up. So the cost of wood and tile and everything goes into a house is just going to go up. We're not making any more land. We may be squeezing more tall skinnies in places, but there's no more land being made. And so I expect over the long haul, as a general trend, that inflation will continue to make the properties go up in value and cost. And so if you lock in now, if you can make that note, if rates were to tumble, you could probably refinance and take advantage of that. If rates don't and they go up, well, then you've locked in something at a lower rate. And of course, if they continue on, inflation is not apt to stop, I don't think. So you're probably not going to be a heck of a lot worse now than you would be then. Of course, the decision's always yours, and I don't want to sound like a real estatery type of guy who's just trying to talk you into action. But I do think you can have paralysis by analysis and simply do nothing, and that nothing that you're doing costs you more than doing something. So it's just up to you. Just keep that in mind. I don't know exactly why the rates are going up. It's counterintuitive, but we are spending crazy amounts of money at the federal level, and that's going to cause the inflation. We're going to have to see some cuts, and not just cuts in the projected size of growth, but we really need to flatten it out and say no more. We've got to come up with some cost-saving things, just like you would if you had a reduction in income. You'd have to find some place to economize. The government's not like that. And we just take what we get. We hit what's pitched. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the one last thing we want to talk about. Remember, we said we were going to have this Snowmageddon. National Weather Service, this is on X. We pulled up the current forecast, says 6 to 8 inches. The yellow is 6 to 8 inches. And the blue is 4 to 6 inches. Now, right here, it's not a very good zoom, but right here we've got Rutherford County just about cut through the middle into 4 to 6 and 6 to 8. So I don't know what we're going to get. Don't know if we're actually going to get it. But as long as it's just snow, most of us will be okay, because if we're not the ones who have to work weekends, if we're not the linemen, if we're not the people who have to come out and fix frozen pipes or broken water mains, if we're not the people that have to fix the fiber optic lines that break, that kind of thing, if we're able to stay in, we'll just stay in and watch a little TV and enjoy our weekend. If we're nurses, doctors, emergency personnel, we'll have to probably get out in there. But hopefully people will stay home, and it will be very, very dull evening, Saturday evening and Sunday and so on like that. So let's get to our numbers for this week. Hello, I'm Delbridge of Benchmark Realty, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. If you are currently unrepresented and would like to know how to compare up to 3 properties side by side and room by room, then go over to my new YouTube channel, CallDelToSell. That's 1 L and Del, no spaces. Watch the demo on Real Scout and then call me and we'll set up your exclusive ad-free account today. Well, last term we saw that would be 1/2 of 24. First Thursday in this year, 2025, we had 21,038 in the opportunities. That decreased slightly over the previous period. We had 3097 in the under contract still showing. That also dropped down. The ratio between them actually improved a little bit. We had 15% in the integer level from the 14 the previous week. This week, 9 of 24. For today, we see we had 21,815 opportunities that actually went up a couple hundred, not quite 800, but it went up. And we had 3114 in the under contract still showing. They also went up as well, and the ratio between them dropped down to 14%. So they're holding on to a few less houses this week than we were last week. We rode up to 15% at the integer level. So here we go. We've got a weekend ahead of us. We got football game on right now. If you watch college football, the semifinals, we have a semifinal game tomorrow, if I'm not terribly mistaken. We'll just see what goes on, and we appreciate you watching.